Hello everyone. Today we are going to start unit second steering and suspension system. In that sub part of suspension system we are going to learn. This topic includes the syllabus need and type of suspension, coil and leaf spring suspension, suspension system for multi-axle vehicle, troubleshooting and remedies and shock absorber. Apart from this, we will also learn the things related to the suspension system. So first today's topic is need and type of suspension system. So friend, you know what is mean by suspension system? The automobile body and frame are mounted on the front and rear axle, not directly, but some forms of spring and shock absorber. The technical name of the shock absorber is the damper. So this spring and damper combination used to damp the vibration or road shocks. All these parts collectively perform the function called suspension system. The function of the spring is it is used to oscillate. Okay, it absorbs the shocks, and the function of the damper, it reduces this oscillation or reduces the frequency of oscillation. Today in this topic need of suspension system, or you can say basic function of the suspension system, we are going to learn different point related to the suspension, why we need the suspension for the vehicle. Friend, here you can see here this first figure, it's car. It is showing here in this figure, it is showing the three axes. Okay, you can consider x, y and z axis, and this indicate the pitch, yaw and roll of the vehicle. So every things or every part, when part is in the space, it has the actually 12 degree of freedom. It's called the DOF, degree of freedom. When you say degree of freedom, 6 are the longitudinal degree of freedom and 6 are rotational degree of freedom. Just for your general knowledge, I am telling here. The first one, x plus, x minus, y plus, y minus, z plus, z minus, and clockwise, anti-clockwise rotation about each axis. These are the 12 degree of freedoms. So to restrict this freedom and give the comfort, for that purpose suspension need. One thing you observe here, if vehicle is going on the straight or flat surface, so 1 degree of freedom is closed here. But you know friend, our road is not always not straight, it is like the bumps and potholes on the roads. So when its vehicle is moving over this road, so it gives the discomfort. So to avoid this, for that purpose suspension is needed. So friends, we are going to learn the different parts related to this suspension system. First one is the rolling. What is meant by rolling? Here you can see I am going to increase here the width. Rolling, when you can see here longitudinal axis related to the vehicle from front side to rear side. When you see the vehicle from front or back, when it goes, this is the vehicle you are looking, and here is the tire of the vehicles. When you look this vehicle, okay, from the front or rear, when it rotate about this axis like this, okay, clockwise or anti-clockwise direction here, so left or right, it is called the rolling. When, what is mean by pitching? See friend, here pitching, when vehicle is moving over the road, when you see from the sides, so for example here vehicle from the side view, and here two tires. When you are looking the vehicle from the side view, when front tire, front side and back side, okay, go up and down, means rotating about this red color axis, then you can say it's pitching. And when vehicle yawing, it means when you see the vehicle from the top view, okay, from the top side of the vehicle, top view, when it rotate about the center, okay, for example this direction, or you can say this direction to this direction, it may be clockwise or anti-clockwise. then you can say it's yawing. So all this motion when restricted and give the comfort, then we can say it is the best suspension systems. So friend, the to prevent this, for that purpose suspension system is used. Apart from this, another point related to the suspension system, the first one is the brake dip. What is mean by brake dip? Okay friend, when on the sudden braking, you have seen vehicle has a tendency to lower at front side, in case of the sudden braking. So to lower the front side, or you can say dip at front, it is called the brake dip. So this thing should be avoided in the suspension system. Then hopping, in this figure you can see here hopping. Here it is indicating when vehicle backside, okay, it is indicating a differential, rear wheel differential. When it's going up and down for only backside, this is moving up and down, it's called the hopping. And tamping, it is the you can say here it is the differential. Here differential connect, propeller shaft is connected to the differential. When this differential twist about the center clockwise or anti-clockwise, then it's called the tramping. And last one is the wind up. Wind up is term related to the leaf spring or spring used for the suspension. When in case of the sudden acceleration, braking or turning, that time when spring rotate, means wind and unwind about the center, then it's called the wind up of that suspension system. And next point, here we are going to learn in this figure, you can see unsprung weight. What is meant by unsprung weight and sprung weight? Same here, another figure is also showing sprung weight and unsprung weight. So what do you mean by unsprung weight? Here this unsupported weight by the spring, or spring does not take this weight, that weight is called the unsprung weight. And weight is supported by the suspension spring, it's called the sprung weight. So friend, unsprung weight is the weight of the vehicle component between the suspension system and the road surface. Okay, for example, unsprung weight, this to this is called the unsprung weight. Below the suspension system and up to the road surface, it's called the unsprung weight. It includes tire, wheels assembly, axle assembly, brakes, steering knuckles, etc. Same like the sprung weight, the weight supported by the suspension system like the frame, body, engine, transmission. For example, sprung weight, you can see this to this is called the sprung weight. The supported by the suspension spring, it is applicable to any spring or any types of suspension. You can see here the two coil spring as shown here, leaf spring and coil spring as shown. But weight above the suspension, it's called the sprung weight, and weight below the suspension, it's called the unsprung weight. What is the effect of the sprung weight and unsprung weight? When vehicle strike against the bumps, they vibrate along with other unsprung parts, means which store the energy of vibration and further transmit to the sprung weights. So it is happen through the spring. If more weight of unsprung parts, in that case there will be more energy store and that vehicle create more vibration. So friend, unsprung weight of the vehicle should be less. If the weight of the unsprung weight is more, it store more energy, and later this energy transfer through this spring to the sprung weight side and it create vibration in the we can say cabin or top in the body of the vehicle. So to optimize the design, unsprung weight of the vehicle should be less. The major and basic function of the suspension system, the first function you can say to prevent the road shock transmitted to the vehicle. Second function, to maintain or preserve stability of the vehicle from pitching, rolling while in motion. Third function, to safeguard occupant from road shocks. Fourth function, to provide good road handling while driving, cornering and braking. And fifth function of the basic function of suspension system, to maintain proper steering geometry. These are the basic function or requirement or need from the suspension system. In this topic we are going to learn types of suspension system. So friend, here you can see two types of figure. The first showing the rigid axial suspension and second showing the independent suspension. So rigid axial suspension, it is also called the conventional suspension system. In this system in which road spring are attached to the rigid beam axle. For this is used generally in the bus and trucks, this system. And the other system is independent suspension system. In this system it is used separately for each wheel. You can see for the suspension system is separate or individual for each wheel. So each wheel can move vertically, react to the bump independently, no effect on the other side. In first case, there is the effect, moment of the wheel of one side affect the moment of the wheel on the other side. And here here it is generally used for the cars and jeeps, or in the bike also you can see for the individual tire there is a separate system, it's called the independent suspension system. And in rigid axial suspension generally it use the leaf spring, transfer leaf spring, or sometimes coil spring is also used, or torsion bars. Here this suspension system classified into 5 parts. First one is the wishbone independent suspension system, wishbone type. Second one is the MacPherson independent suspension system. Third one is the trailing link independent suspension system. Fourth one is the vertical guide type suspension system. Fifth one is the swinging arm type suspension system. All these 5 types we are going to learn. There are basic differences between these two types of suspension. In second figure you can see here the figure A. Here you can say the spring, one side spring, okay, is affecting to the other side, so body or frame of the vehicle is tilted. So this type of case you can see in the rigid axial suspension or conventional suspension when it's come across the bumps or potholes. But here you can see for the independent suspension, one wheel is in the pothole, other is on the straight path, but same time only the axle is tilted, body is at the straight in the straight line. So there is no effect on the body part of this suspension, is called the independent suspension system. It gives the more comfort, independent system gives the more comfort when compared to the rigid axial suspension. Then rigid axial suspension, in that case unspring weight is more. Here it also store the more elastic energy and it transfer to the upper side through this spring, so more vibration you can feel in the rigid axial suspension. But apart from this independent suspension system, cost of the independent suspension system is high because maintenance is also more, because number of bearings and different parts are used in the suspension independent suspension system. So but unsprung weight of the independent suspension system is less, so it gives the more comfort when compared to the rigid axial or conventional suspension system. So we are going to learn in detail different types of springs and types of suspension system used in the type of suspension system. Okay. Here you can see the semi-elliptical type leaf spring. So this spring generally used for the conventional suspension system or rigid axial suspension system. So this spring has the different parts. The center part is called the U-bolt. It is inverted U-bolt fixed to the rear axle. Then from the upper blades, this is semi-elliptical spring and it is universally used for the heavy suspension system. It consists of number of leaves called the blades. The blades are vary in length. They are having the different lengths. The longest spring has the eye on the ends. You can see here the spring eye at the longest spring top side. All blades are placed by means packed or assembled by these strips, or you can call it a clip or strap. Then one end of the spring mounted on the simple pin attached to the bracket. Here it is fixed and it is attached to the bracket. It is this bracket is the rigid component, but other end connected to the shackle, and it is pivoted to the frame here at this point. So one is the rigid joint and another is having the movable joint. So movable side is called the shackle side of the spring. One eye connected to this. So when vehicle come across the projection on road surface, the wheel moves up and deflecting the spring. It deflects the spring when it's move up. Its force is from the bottom side force. Okay, it's creating the deflection in the spring. This changes the length between the spring eye. This changes the length between the spring eye. If both are fixed end or rigid end, the spring will not able to accommodate this change of the length. So for that purpose, flexible connection provided one end of the spring at the shackle side. Then second point, whether to have shackle at the front. You can see here the figure, the first showing the shackle at the rear end and second shackle at the front end. So whether to have the shackle at the front end or at the rear end is for the front. This case is considered for the front suspension. You can see here in this figure. So see the situation, shackle at the rear end. In this case, I am talking about this case, first case, when shackle at the rear end. So in this case, the axle movement around the front rigid and spring connection, while the drag link of its motion about the drop arm joint. Here you can see this is the fixed point where when it go up and down, this spring is rotate about this center like this. Okay. The same time, the drag link of drop arm, it is the part of steering system. Okay, it is connected to the wheel assembly. It also rotate because of the steering linkage this about this center. Okay, so friend, you can see here. And second case here. So before that we will see what is happening here. If this wheel is rotating about the two center, it create the end result of this is the wheel oval. Means it creates the vibration in the wheel because there are two different centers. For on that center, same wheel is rotating. So it creates different radius and it creates vibration in the vehicles. So to avoid this, the best design to put the shackle in the suspension system to front side. So how? Here you can see, when you see opposite case, if shackle mounted at the front side and rigid bracket near to the drop arm, this fixed rigid connection near to the drop arm, or back side, we can say the rotation at the rear spring I gives the approximate same radius action of drag link. You can say wheel is rotating here. Okay, here wheel is rotating about this center, first center, about this fixed bracket, and second this drop arm. So in that case, less vibration, or it you can say it minimizes vibration or negligible vibration. So this shackle should be mounted at the front side is the best. It is the best design for the vehicle for the suspension purpose. Second one about this spring eyes for heavy vehicle used bush. there are bush is inserted here in between these eyes. So after the wearing we can replace it, and this bush used are phosphorus bronze from the phosphorus bronze type material. But for the light vehicle like the cars, the use of the rubber bush is common. So for that purpose no need of lubrication in case of the car. They allow slight misalignment also. So this is also the one advantage with the rubber bush. It is generally used for the light vehicle. Then second thing, to increase the fatigue strength and life of the spring, it is increased by short pinning. So what is meant by short pinning? Means hammering over the top surface of each blade. You have seen in any garage or workshop, the technical person is hammering for at the time of maintenance over these blades. So hammering over the top surface of each blade introduce the compressive residual stress in that blades. And secondly, the edge of the blades is rounded edges. It also avoids the stress concentration, and it is increases the fatigue strength. When you see from the bottom side of this blades, so you can see here these edges are rounded here, okay, like this. At the rounded or chamfer, you can say fillet or chamfer, like this, okay. It is rounded, or maybe the sometime fillet are provided here like this. So it avoid the stress concentration like this. So this part is removed after that. Then when second point related to this spring, when spring deflect, upper side of each spring slide over the rub against on the bottom side. When it deflects, bottom spring rubs over the upper side. This springs rub over the this spring. This spring rubs over the this spring. So bottom side of each spring is getting the rubbing action. So to in the leaf spring, it produce the damping and reduces the vibration, and it also create the squeaking noise sound when it rub over the upper blade. For that purpose, at the end of the blades, okay, to avoid this sound, wax or rubbers are as the insert used at the end of this blade. Wax or rubber type insert are used. Second, the rubbing create the corrosion between the blade, and to avoid this, zinc or phosphorus paint or any soft material is used between these two blades to avoid the corrosion. Apart from this, another point with the leaf spring, it requires the periodic lubrication, and for the lubrication purpose, you already seen how they are lubricating the leaf spring. For that purpose, vehicle should be jacked first. So the gap between this spring will open, and then this gap is filled with the graphite or standard oil for the lubrication purpose. Here we are going to learn different types of leaf spring used in the suspension system, different types of leaf spring. So first you can see here the quarter elliptical leaf spring. It is the half part of the semi-elliptical leaf spring. You can see clearly here from this point to this point, quarter elliptical leaf spring. So it reduces the weight, but it's earlier it was used, but most common is the semi-elliptical type. Here you can see semi-elliptical type leaf spring. So for the better performance, vehicle need a semi-elliptical type leaf spring. And third one, this is the quarter elliptical, this is semi-elliptical, and third one is the transfer type. It is inverted form of the semi-elliptical vehicle, and it is joined or assembled both the ends at the to the frame by using this link, okay, or you can say the shackle, and frame is mounted over this spring. And instead of the 4 elliptical spring, only 2 leaf spring, means 2 transfer leaf spring can be used in that types of suspension. You can see here the inverted type, or it's called a transfer leaf spring. It is used here, only one at the front side and same at the other side instead of 4 semi-elliptical leaf spring. So it has the advantages. It reduces the number of spring, but same time when vehicle come at the corner, in that case, so there is a more rolling, means rolling about this center from this, for example, this side and this side is more in this case at the time of cornering. So this is disadvantage with the transfer type leaf spring. Second one is the helper spring. This name indicate it helps the main spring. So you can see two different spring. The upper spring is called the helper spring and it is fixed to the frame here to the bracket, and lower is the semi-elliptical spring generally used along with this helper spring, and it is fixed to the axle. So helper spring are provided on many commercial vehicle in addition to the main leaf spring. They allow for wide range of loading. When the vehicle is only light load, in that case helper spring do not come in operation. But as the load increases, the helper spring takes the load and share the load. Generally helper spring are used at the rear side of the suspension system. Then last one here, you can see here front spring of the Ashok Leyland bus. You can see here friend, there is a no curve here. This is the flat type spring, okay, invented by the Ashok Leyland design engineer or R&D engineer. So this is the flat, the it has a less camber, means less curved spring. So if the curve of the spring is more or camber is more, in that case we have already seen yaw, means rotating about the vertical center axis when you can see from the top side. So yaw is more and it's provide the discomfort, if and vehicle rolling is also more in that case. So to avoid this yaw or motion about the vertical central rotating motion about the vertical axis, for that purpose this flat spring is used, but it has the longer length, so it gives the comfort. But same time another point related to this spring, it having the flat, no camber, it avoid the yaw, but same time when it is used in a vehicle, the front side suspension length of this spring, leaf spring, is different when compared to the rear side. Why? Because when vehicle come across the bump, both springs should vibrate at different frequency. So it means it avoid or oppose the vibration of the other spring and it minimize that vibration. For that purpose, length of the front and rear suspension spring are different in the vehicle. You can see here the helper type spring I have. You can see here upper side is the helper type spring. I think you have understood this point. We will go to the next point. Friends, in this point we are going to learn the types of independent suspension system. But before that, again I would like to discuss advantages and disadvantages of the independent suspension system as compared to the rigid axle suspension system. So please memorize the first point. The elastic strain energy per unit spring weight stored in a coil or torsion bar is more as compared to the semi-elliptical leaf spring, which means lighter spring can be used in case of the independent suspension system. This is the first point. And second, in case of independent suspension, unsprung weight is reduced, which ultimately increase the tire life and reduces the tire scrub. Third point, it uses the softer spring and it reduces the rolling effect by using this softer spring and increases the ride of comfort. Fourth one, it also improves the steering precision because wheel movement are not linked in case of the independent suspension system. And here is a no solid axle used, so vertical movement the engine and the chassis frame can be placed relatively lower, which means engine position can be moved forward and for it result into more space for the passenger. These are the advantages with the independent suspension system. But apart from this system has the disadvantages like the initial cost is high, Greater maintenance required because larger number of bearing parts. Then misalignment of steering geometry, it increases the wear of components, and it need a more frequent attention, means wheel alignment it's necessary periodically. Then in the event of body roll, the wheel camber means tilt outward in case of wishbone or MacPherson, due to which cornering power is reduced, means at the time of cornering, taking turn. More rigid subframe and chassis frame required for this purpose. These are the disadvantages with these types of independent suspension system, but mostly for the light vehicle this system is suitable, and for the heavy vehicle where the weight transport is more, in that case rigid axle suspension is preferred. So friend, the first one is the wishbone type suspension system. Why it's called the wishbone type suspension system? You can see this figure, it shows the wishbone type suspension system. Okay, you can see in this figure coil spring is attached underneath of the body and lower wishbone. This is called the lower wishbone or lower A arm because it's shaped like the A. This is called the upper arm or upper wishbone. So it consists of upper and lower wishbone and are pivoted to the frame members. These are pivoted here to the frame member. You can see here and here pivoted, both the ends of AR. And its second, the spring is placed in between the lower wishbone. You can see here it's set at the lower wishbone and underneath of the frame. And the vehicle weight is transmitted from the body and the cross member to the coil spring to the lower wishbone member, to the lower wishbone member, means I like this. Okay, body weight transmitted like this, like this, like this, like this, and to the body member like this through this spring. So the wishbones is also like the chicken wishbone or letter V, means like the A or V shape, because of which the system is also called V-shaped wishbone. V-shape, the wishbone not only position the wheel and transmit the vehicle load to the spring, but it also resists the acceleration, braking and cornering forces. The upper arm is shorter. You can see here the upper arm is shorter than the lower arm. So this helps to keep the wheel track constant. Wheel track means when you see the vehicle from front, from the center distance between the two tire front to it's called the wheel track or wheel thread. So this keep this wheel track constant, thereby avoiding the tire scrubs and minimize the tire wear. But here the one disadvantages with these types of suspension system, the vertical movement of the tire, it changes the camber angle. Means camber, when you see the tire from the front side, so when it go up and down, this tire tilt and it creates the camber angle, different camber angle. So this in this case is more, but it is near about means neglected or minimized in the MacPherson strut type suspension system. Okay, this system here you can see it uses only one wishbone here, and it is pivoted here to the frame, only one point. And later this tub axle, okay, this tub axle is carries this tire and wheel assembly, and other side of the upper strut containing shock absorber and spring carries is strut containing shock absorber and spring carries the load, and other side is fixed to the body member. This is the shock absorber spring, this is the containing shock absorber strut, and here the stub axle, strut and stub axle. Only one lower type wishbone is used in this case. Here is the rubber bush, it is fixed or bolted here to this stub axle frame knuckle joints. So the wishbone is hinged to the cross member and position the wheel as well as resist the acceleration, braking and side force. This system is simple than the double wishbone type because it is also less weight, lighter, keeping unsprung weight lower. Further, camber, main point is the camber also does not change. when wheel moves up and down. This camber means this vertical motion of the tire is only in the downward direction and vertical direction. It does not tilt like this, does not tilt in this direction. So this is completely avoided. It's only rotating upper and lower. So for that purpose it is used commonly. The basic in Maruti 800 or Swift Desire car, you can see these types of suspension system, MacPherson suspension system. It also has the means two advantages. It provides the less component, provide the more space for the engine components. So engine compartment has the more space in case of the MacPherson suspension. And second, it also gives the self-stabilizing effect. So in the steering you can get the self-stabilizing effect by using this MacPherson suspension system. Because of that it is most popular in the light vehicle. Independent suspension system is the trailing link independent suspension system. Okay, you can see the figure here, trailing link independent, this 3D image. Here you can see the horizontal helical spring in the this breakout view. Here multiplate shock absorber is also assembled in front of this helical spring. Later arm for the brake torque here provided, and this is connected to this spring. Okay, and it goes to the front wheel shaft here, and this is called the trailing link. Over this stub axle the wheels is mounted, and this whole unit is fixed to the frame side member. So friend, in this system in this type of suspension system, helical spring is used, but it is used in horizontal position instead of vertical. It is in the horizontal. One end of the spring is fixed with the cross member, this member, and other end is well to the trailing link. Here you can say other end is fixed to the other end of the trailing link is also fixed with the shaft which is carrying the wheel hub. It is fixed to the shaft here which is carrying the wheel hub. When the vehicle passes over a bump of the road, then road wheel moves up and down. Means road wheel moves here up and down, this side and this side. So when it move up and down, it rotate about this axis. So when it rotate about this axis, it winds and unwinds the helical spring by which the vibration are through this vibration are coming. It's means this motion converted into winding action of the spring, winding and unwinding action of the spring. And in this system, to relieve this spring, okay, gradually, for that purpose multiplate shock absorber is provided. In some cases torsion bars is also used in the in case of the horizontal helical spring. So it is limited use, this type. It is generally used for the specific type of vehicle, because there is a problem, means difficulty. It does not maintain the camber and wheel track constant, trailing link. So it and it also takes a lot of space. For that purpose its applications is limited. Second one is the vertical guide suspension system. Here you can see the cross member at the bottom side. Upper spacing rod is fixed to the other side of these springs. Then knuckle is directly, these are the two knuckles directly mounted over this suspension system steering knuckle, and other bottom side is fixed to the cross member, means wheel assembly over this knuckle. So in this system the stub axle can slide up and down. It can slide up and down this direction. This stub axle goes up and down, and it allows the turning of wheel when steering at the time of steering. It also, because it is rotating about this center, it also turns like this at the time of turn. The lower end of the swivel pins are fixed with the cross member. This is called the swivel pin, and it is fixed to the cross member. And of the chassis, the ends are supported with the spacing rods. Here, helical spring are used between the spacing rod and sliding member of the axle and arranged in such a way that the swivel pin may pass through them. In this system, the caster angle, camber angle, and the track of the wheel is not altered. Okay, please note down this point. The cross member, camber angle, and wheel track not altered. The wheel only rise and fall. The main difficulty in this system is that keep the sliding member free from the shake and slackness. So more like the bouncing effect in that case. So third point, is the third type is the last one, swinging arm. Swinging arm type in suspension system, independent suspension system. In this, wheel are mounted rigidly on the half axle. You can see this is the half axles, and these axle are pivoted on the other end to the chassis member. This axle, both axle you can see pivoted at the chassis member at the middle of the car. The main disadvantage of this system is that up and down movement of the wheel create the camber angle to vary during cornering, and it create the lifting or jacking effect. It lifts the vehicle one side, or jacking effect is produced by the positive camber of the outside wheel. So there is a sudden loss of the traction because of this. So because of that, usually or rarely these types of suspension system is used in the vehicle.